Gen Z and millennials are thirsty for luxury dupes. Maybe we can say it also as Charlotte Tilbury would, thirsty. Gen Z and millennials are thirsty, darling. Thirsty for luxury dupes. According to some article, without the luxury price, by the way. So let's see what this is all about. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only. Not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. Okay, thumb up the video, subscribe. There's been a massive spike in social media content about dupes, affordable lookalikes of designer bags, especially between February and April of 2025, of this year, the year that we're filming in. A new study by Plot, a social media insights platform, analyzed thousands of TikTok and Instagram posts and found mentions of these budget-friendly alternatives that have exploded nearly tenfold in that short time. Now, mind you, we're talking dupes. We're not talking fakes here. Turns out Gen Z is leading the charge, and they're way more open to the idea of dupes than millennials. While millennials are still in the dupe game, they tend to side-eye it more. Gen Z, on the other hand, sees dupes as smart shopping, not shady knockoffs. To them, it's less about pretending something's real and more about getting the aesthetic without the price tag. So, I mean, I have heard this more and more. You know, as time passes, people are talking about dupes and replicas and fakes. Just to be very clear, a dupe is not a replica. A dupe is basically legally allowed still because it's another no-name brand getting inspired by the shape and the design of a bag that comes from a brand that is popular and famous, and then they make their own bag in the shape that resembles, also sometimes the colorway that resembles the bag made by the famous brand, but they do not put the logo of that brand on their bag. They do not use any copywritten logos, branding, shapes, whatever, but they make it look close. You know, they make the bag look like it was inspired by the luxury brand bag. So that's a dupe. In other words, it is legal. What would be illegal is if you were to add to that bag the Hermes logo, the Chanel logo, the Dior logo, the Gucci logo, the branding, the copywritten branding. If you add that to your dupe bag becomes a replica bag. It becomes a knockoff bag. It becomes a fake bag. And that's the illegal part. In some countries, it is legal to wear those bags. In other countries, it is not legal to even wear those bags. But in every country that I have looked online up the law so far, it seems as though in every country it is illegal to sell them. The replicas, not the dupes. Allegedly. According to Plot's data, Louis Vuitton and Hermes top the list of brands people are trying to dupe, with Gen Z also buzzing about Chanel, Coach, and Gucci. Millennials are mostly focused on Gucci and Chanel. No surprise there. These are the brands that scream status. And even bigger surprise, neither the brands nor their reps had anything to say when asked about it. Dupes are having a cultural moment. A 2023 survey by Business Insider and YouGov found that 70% of Gen Z shoppers admit to buying cheaper alternatives to luxury items. And a fashion law expert, Susan Scafidi, pointed out that the word dupe is being used to soften the blow of calling something a knockoff. For younger shoppers, buying a dupe isn't a scandal. It's seen as a flex. It's like saying, I know fashion, but I'm not a fool with my wallet. Here's the thing. And this is, I think, the biggest and the most interesting point for me in this whole, like, what's the takeaway from all of this? It seems like the new generations are finally understanding that we are in a at a point now where you don't need to buy a fake Gucci, a fake Chanel, a fake Hermes with the logo on it and everything, because it's no longer about flexing that you have something that you don't have. Fake it till you make it, in other words, but it is more about being clever about it and saying, look, I'm wearing the dupe, not the fake, the dupe, with no logo on it, because I'm aware of the shape being trendy and cool in some ways, but I don't want to spend the money on it. I don't think it's worth that money. So I can follow that shape and trend of that style, but I'm not following the trend of buying into expensive luxury fashion and brands. So I get the aesthetic, I get the look without getting the logo, because that's like a statement. Like the younger generation today is making a statement by saying, I don't want the logo. I don't want the brand. I don't want to spend the money on an expensive brand. Now, this is coming from many generations ago, very, very different. Things have changed a lot. And I wonder how luxury brands are going to deal with this. And this might be the reason why, ultimately, a lot of these luxury brands, and this is something a little bit controversial, what I'm about to say, but this is one of the reasons why I feel like many luxury brands lately have become really trashy. And this is because I think it's the nouveau riche that buy into them the most. It's like the new rich that need this, they have this inner need and desire to show off that they can afford stuff. So for them, it's really important to have the logo, to have the expensive stuff, just to prove themselves in society. While the people that don't have that inferiority complex, they don't care for those brands anymore. And even, I mean, there's going to be new rich every generation, but I feel like it's very much a thing of a couple of years ago, maybe even a decade ago, the whole nouveau riche movement. It's slowed down now a little bit, and but the luxury brands are left designing stuff for that audience. That's their target audience. So of course it's tacky, because that audience doesn't really know any style or, any sophistication, heritage of the brand. They don't care for the heritage of the brand. They don't care for specific style, for specific elegance. They do not care. They want a big, fat logo on them, and they want to show you that they bought the logo on the latest item that was just released now. They will not wear it twice. They will wear it only once, and then they're going to buy a new one. So the brands have become clever about it as well. They're like, okay, these Oompa Loompas want to keep buying this shit with logos? Fine. It's a quick buck for us. Apparently, they only wear it once or twice tops, and then they throw it away anyway. So we don't even have to invest money in making good quality stuff anymore. We're just going to we're going to maximize our profits as much as we can. We're going to make it as cheap as quality as possible, but we're going to plaster a big fat logo on it so that these suckers that are ready to, prove themselves to their community that they can afford it, so that they're going to buy this shit, and we're going to make a pretty penny, and they're going to wear it once or twice. They're not even going to notice that the quality sucks, because they're not going to be allowed to wear it more than once or twice, because otherwise the other people in their community are going to judge them. Oh my God, you're wearing the same $50,000 Chanel outfit twice? Oh, bless your heart. Are you going through some economical hardships? So the brands aren't dumb, but because if you want to maximize your profits, it's quick, and that's how you do it. But where is it going to take them? These are all brands that have these weird CEOs sitting at the helm that are just ready to milk it for whatever it's worth. They get their millions in commission and payments, and then they leave the brand messed up after a couple of years. They're rich now. The CEOs that have left are rich, but the brand is messed up, because now the brand is getting more and more and more, that reputation of looking trashy. And I mean, look what happened to Givenchy with Riccardo Tisci. Riccardo Tisci, in my humble opinion, ruined Givenchy for the ages. It is going to take decades and decades and decades and decades for that brand to recover. He bastardized that brand to the point of no return. The new rich were loving Givenchy under Riccardo Tisci. They were all buying that crap with the Rottweilers and the stars around the neck and the flowers with the black. Oh, please. Oof. And so a lot of these luxury brands are playing with fire right now. They're all doing this shtick. And they're going to pay for it later. They're going to pay for it because they're going to be left with a really, really trashy reputation, bad quality, poor design. And a couple of years from now, everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, that brand, ooh, they do the tacky stuff. But those same brands, just like 10, 15, 20 years ago, were, prized as the epitome of elegance, sophistication, and now they're trash. And for what? Because the CEO wanted to earn a couple extra $100 million in bonuses. And then they leave they don't care about the brand. The CEO is going to earn their money. They're going to become multimillionaires and they're going to leave. They don't care if the brand is left to explode. They don't care. So we have to be clever as a consumer. We have to pick and choose the stuff that really feels like it is stylistically sound and proper for us. Something that is not just trend driven, but something that will last, not just stylistically, but also quality-wise, something that will last. In other words, it better be worth my money. And by that, I don't mean as an investment. Not at all. I never sat here on my channel telling, yo, buy this bag. It's a great investment. You can resell it for double the price next year. I never think in those terms. I think in terms I only buy what I really like to use. And that's as far as it goes. And I wish and I hope that what I buy I can use for many, many years to come. I hope that it doesn't fall apart soon. And I hope that I get to enjoy it for many years to come. That's how I buy stuff, whether it be a bag, clothing, accessories, perfumes, whatever. Let me know your thoughts down below. Never give up on love. Subscribe. Let's get to 100K. Thumb up the video. Bye.